Hey, Boppers. Hey, Boppers. How are we? Welcome back. Again, on a sad note, Tom isn't with us this time either, and that is a shame. He's at a festival doing comedy, so...
I don't like us.
So he likes being at a festival doing comedy more than us. So, in a change to what we had scheduled, we've done another odd thing. So I'm Eddie French, by the way, here with Emmett as well.
Hello.
Yeah. So we have watched The Man Who Cheated Himself.
And boy, did he.
He did. The Man Who Cheated Himself. It's you can tell it's noir because it's got one of those very blunt. The man who cheated, the man who knew too much, the woman who was nearly there,
the cat who had a runaway.
Yeah,
that's not even a thing.
No, it is. No. It's a noir. The cat who had a runaway. It's a bit more jazz age. This cat's got a runaway, man. He's looking after the runaway. He's got him living in his drum kit going
not the literary, it's a sketchy.
That's a brilliant jazz shit joke. Well done.
Yeah, thanks.
This is why we have you. That's why we have you here, Emma. Yes, we are watching...
I don't remember films.
No, you're right. It was a 1950 film directed by Felix E. Feist with J. Lee Cobb, Jane Wyatt and John Dahl. J. Lee Cobb, he went on to be... He was in 12 Angry Men. He was one of the 12 Angry Men. He plays a fairly moody man throughout this. He only gets full angry a couple of times, but he's moody.
Yeah, he's a grump cat. He
is. But he's a hard boiled. He's not too hard boiled. He's not a private investigator. He is a detective. He's
he does crack the odd smile as well. He's not like
dead
inside.
No. He's not a sort of a Sam Spade or that kind of character. He's a copper, and we meet him. This isn't the first thing, but we meet him first day on the job for his little brother, Andy, who's little baby detective.
He's a right little rug.
And he is proper excited, isn't he? It is his best. He's living his best life.
He's bouncing around. He's wanting to solve the crimes.
He's brought in an apple for the chief of police, probably.
Yeah,
we didn't see that, but he's got a brand new pencil that he has sharpened especially, and a notebook.
Ready.
Yeah, he's got shiniest shoes in the precinct.
His hat has got a point on it that you wouldn't. Right up.
It's amazing. He has washed behind his ears like his mum told him. And
slicked his hair.
He looks like his mum has dressed him.
Yeah,
it's very exciting. But this isn't where the film opens. The film opens in an office, and there's a bloke pottering about with a load of stuff. He wangs a bunch of papers into the fire, which is always a great way to start a noir. Like, okay, brilliant, covering up stuff, and then he hides a gun under his hat in a wardrobe.
Yes. I didn't remember it being under his hat, but that now gives it.
Yeah, he had because he's got. It's like it's not like a Murphy bed, but it's sort of like a.
Yeah.
It's a spinning round wardrobe door, like in.
It was a good door, to be fair.
Like in Last Crusade when they're going around in the fireplace. It's like that, but for suits.
Yeah.
And there's a shelf at the top, and he takes up one hat.
Yep.
Puts the gun on top of another hat and then places it, so he's made a little hat gun sandwich.
Yeah, so it's like Alice in Wonder Hat.
Alice in Wonder Hat is his name. It's not. What is his name? I've forgotten.
He's called Howard Fraser, I think.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Howie. It's one of the actresses' surname is Howard, so I was getting confused. But yes, Howard Fraser.
Yeah.
Yes, he then takes a poker from the fireplace and knackers the door onto the balcony. And then
pops out a bit, comes back in.
And then his wife comes in, angrily smoking all over the place. There's a lot of emotional smoking. People smoke through different emotions. It's really great.
She's like, you better not be rifling through my drawers.
Yeah.
Oh, no, darling.
No, I'm not doing that.
No. I've already seen into the future. Yes. I know what's happening.
Because we've only found this out from looking at the Wikipedia
Dead
page,
excited.
where the first sentence is wealthy socialite Lois Fraser divorcing her fortune hunter.
Fortune hunter?
It says
fortune teller.
I thought it was fortune teller. Fortune
That's a
hunter.
different...
What's a fortune hunter?
Like Indiana Jones, isn't it? It was like, oh no, just, I don't know, maybe they sell stuff on the market. Is it
I don't know.
Delboy?
At least when it was a fortune teller, I knew what one of those was. A fortune hunter, I don't know.
Unless they go around all the fortune cookies.
Oh, is he in an investment banking or something like that?
That sucks. I thought it was going to have a bit of like...
You can tell that we don't have enough money to be concerned about what people do with theirs.
Yeah.
So she finds a gun she finds his gun, and she calls her new boyfriend.
Yes, Red. I know what fortune now. It's like just a person who marries someone who's rich, isn't it? That's apparently.
Oh.
So what's he bringing to the table?
2 hats.
Yeah. 2 hats and a gun.
2 hats and a gun.
And that's all you need.
That's all I've ever looked for in a man. That's,
yeah.
Nice hat. Oh, nice gun. Tell me, do you have another hat? I don't, I'm afraid. Get out of my house. Yeah. You're a disgrace. Call yourself a man. So, the fortune... I misread it. I so wish it was fortune teller now.
We can just pretend it's fortune teller.
Okay.
It's fine.
So he's got a massive, big sort of purple silk turban on.
Yep.
Permanently got a crystal ball in front of him.
Yeah. Asking you to cross his palm with silver.
Yeah. His palm is always semi-crossed with silver.
Yep.
And so she's worried about this gun because she thinks the only reason he's bought a gun
he's going to nobble her off.
Is to... Yeah, absolutely.
Is that an alright word these days? I don't know.
Yeah, why not?
He's going to murder her.
Yeah, he is. Because she's not changed her will yet. And they're getting a divorce, but the divorce isn't final. And, he's a fortune hunter and teller, as we know. He's also teller from Penn and Teller. He's got 3 jobs now.
Yeah.
Soon he talks as much as Teller from Penn and Teller because Ed, the cop, goes around and... she says, "Oh, I'm really worried. All this stuff, and he's frightening me. Look, I found this garden, and then
he's going to murder me in the night."
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, don't be crazy, you crazy rich broad who I love.
Yes.
Don't be stupid. It'll all be okay.
Get us a drink."
Yeah. Why not you? There's some brandy over there. Make us all a drink.
I think, in fact, she said that to him, but that's fine.
Oh, she does. She's the bossiest woman in the world. She's like, "Light me a cigarette, would you, darling?" How difficult is it to light a cigarette? It's the same action as smoking one.
Maybe, though, because he's the man, he has to make the fire.
Oh, right. Maybe. Did they have particularly flammable nail varnish in those days?
Probably. I mean, it's like the radium days or something with the
maybe
radium with a painting thing.
If there was a naked flame too close to a manicured nail, it would just be this sort of fist of fire.
Which actually sounds amazing.
Sounds pretty cool.
So if you want to go back to the old days, guys, just get your nail on.
Absolutely, yeah. Just find a nail polish that's mainly paraffin. I think that's the secret there.
Back to the wax.
Yes.
Always.
Back to the wax. Episode 2, in case anyone was wondering.
Yeah, just if you want to
talk a lot about wax in that one.
Go back to that.
And so Howard comes back through the knackered door that he breaks earlier.
Like through the door in Narnia or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes back through the knackered door.
And he comes back and he's like, "Hey, where's my gun?" And she panics and shoots him.
Yes.
And as
any good person panicking would do.
Yep. She's I don't know what the stand your ground laws are like in San Francisco, but I don't think they're the grimace there suggested you thought I was being more serious than I was.
No. That's fine.
Enough.
That's what I'm thinking of anyway.
Yeah. But so she blows 2 slugs into his chest that Ed points out when she goes, "Should we take him to a hospital?" And he goes, 2 slugs in the chest. Probably don't need a hospital. And she fires one other round off when Ed sort of pulls her arm away to try and stop her from shooting Howard.
Like she's She wants it.
She so wants it. And so fires off into the room somewhere else, and then wrestles the gun off her. But by this point, I'm afraid Howard's gone. Howard's dead, So
he's done.
They come up with an idea because he had a ticket to fly to Seattle that was leaving at 11.
And he calls the operators to get the information.
Yeah. So Ed calls up and asks if he's checked in and all that kind of stuff. And so they decide that Ed's going to drive him to the airport, dump the body somewhere, take all of his money and make it look like he's been robbed and shot.
Yes.
And so this sort of horrible wrong place, wrong time result for Howard. and this
Sorry.
You're right.
I remember there was a bit. It's like because he's like, oh yeah, they went to the bar and stuff, and he's like, too bad he didn't stay at the bar.
Yeah. That's the problem. If he had stayed at the bar, there'd have been another problem because it's a noir film, and that's what happens at bars.
Well.
Hey, it's okay, baby. We'll make it work. I'm going to get rid of him, and it'll be fine.
Yeah, you go to sleep. You need to get the beauty hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you may be rich, but I won't want you if you're not beautiful as well.
Oh.
And so she feels comforted that this is going to happen. Yep. And then at about 11 o'clock that night, he wangs the gun into off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, but he's
into the bay.
He's stopped by the traffic person first.
Yes, he is. Yeah, there's a traffic cop who's like, "Hey, what you doing out here this time of night?" And then there's a lot. The traffic cops in this version of San Francisco are the shittest ever.
They're the worst.
There's another one later who's just dog shit at his own job. So yeah, these guys are useless, which is great fun.
But while I interrupted you were about to talk about the Quimbies at some point, I think.
The Quimbies?
Yeah, the couple. What a dream team.
They are the most wonderful comic relief in this. There could be they're like a Saturday Night Live character couple because they're being interviewed about because they were the ones who found the body.
Yeah, so I think I think they stopped hostile directions. He was like, excuse me, and he's just said, Ed does feck all, nothing, and then he goes away and they see him and they're like, sorry, I'm making no sense here. So they see him dump the body.
Oh yes.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Oh yeah, they see someone dump the body, and then they see him drive away in a blue coupe.
Definitely blue coupe.
Yes. There's a twist. I mean, this is more Rod Serling than last week. There was a twist.
Oh god, yeah. There is actually probably infinitely more Serling.
Yeah.
And surliness.
Ed is one of the surliest characters there is. He can surl when he's being friendly. It's incredible. I can only imagine if, the event that has a child or something, they hand him the baby and he's just sort of really surly at this mewling infant. But yeah, it's like, why don't you take lead on this interview with the witnesses, Andy? And I was like, did you see him? Was it how big was it? Do you think it was? He's so childlike at this. He's like a little Jimmy Stewart. He looks a bit like Jimmy Stewart actually, but he's got this sort of little oh gee, do you think he was driving a big car? What kind of car was it? That's so exciting. He's proper excited about it, and
it's like he's never asked questions before. Beyond.
He's asked questions before, but never about crime.
No,
he's super excited to be doing it, and it's really quite adorable. And
he's really into it because every time he comes on, his little face lights up.
Yeah. He's like, I am proper policeman now. Hi,
I can do this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stay and do 10 hours more than everyone else.
Yeah, you imagine that his kid, when he was a kid, his favourite toy was a magnifying glass that he would look for clues everywhere. Yeah, and
he'd set people up.
Yeah, he'd fit them up completely, just so he could. I don't think he did. He wasn't a maniac.
No, he was a nice guy.
Yeah, and he's about to get married as well.
So
about to get married to Janet.
Yes, Janet. Our lovely Janet.
Janet is one of the sort of peppiest, but not in an irritating way. She's sort of really quite up for existing, and I'd love to know how that feels.
Yeah.
But but her literal lust for life is quite something.
Like, she runs up to cars with glee. Actually, to be honest, I have a student who skips into the lab, and it's the most adorable thing ever. So
wow, you can start calling them Andy.
Yeah. Andy, who's definitely not an Andy.
Fair enough. That's okay. You can.
I will call him Andy.
Yeah.
Because I love an Andy.
Yeah. Well, if all Andys were like this one, then that would be pretty great.
Yeah.
So they find out that it's a blue coupe.
Oh, yes.
And it's amazing as he goes, did you get a good look at the guy? Well, I can't say for sure. Well, what was he? Was he a big man? Was he small? Was he, what size was he?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I had to say, it would be medium.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so was he fair? Did he have like blonde hair, black hair? What, dark complexion? What? He goes, well, probably medium. And just all of the questions, it's like, oh, okay, so we want the most exactly average man in San Francisco.
Yeah. The witness testimony, bloody hell.
And Ed's there probably silently laughing his balls off because he's like, I can't believe I'm going to get away with this after being witnessed. That is so good.
And Andy's just happy to be there.
Yeah, Andy's like,
literally,
you are brilliant at answering questions. Thanks.
Like, best interview ever.
Oh, this is so good.
Good.
So yeah, Andy's thinking, well, I'm getting married, tomorrow or the day after. He's proper excited about it. Because there's a lovely scene where because the brothers share a flat because it's 1950 and therefore they're not married, so they don't live in the same place.
Exactly.
And and there's a bit where Ed's lying in bed reading a book or something, and Andy's just chattering about the case, like brushing his teeth, like going, "What do you, Ed?
What do you think?
Do you reckon it was a big monster? Do you reckon there were two of them?
They totally did it.
Ed, what do you think? We need to find. What? Imagine if we found the gun. That'd be amazing. Imagine it.
So good.
Oh, Ed, and Ed's like going, yeah, don't bring work home with you. Just leave it at the office. We'll pick it up again tomorrow.
Have a read of a book, yeah.
Just cool out your jets, man. Have a drink, lie down, everything's cool. In the hope of trying to calm him. And then the following morning he goes, Ed, guess what? I'm not even going on honeymoon until this is finished.
It's going to be amazing. Janet's fine with it. It's totally cool.
Yeah. Janet thinks it's a brilliant idea. And
she ran up to the car and she kissed me and she said, let's do it tomorrow.
Yep.
Oh, the other day when you finished.
Yeah, let's do it. Once you are finished, it's absolutely brilliant the way that he's so enthusiastic. That's
the amount of investment. Yep, he's gone past. He's chasing that blue coupe.
The blue coupe is causing problems. So then there's a couple of twists in this, or a couple of unlikelies, or not too unlikely. Basically, when you thought that Ed had thrown the gun into the bay,
yes,
he had thrown it into a fishing net that
somebody needs to consider fishing.
Yeah, absolutely.
In their, detective skills.
So Papa Kappa, it transpires, he hauls this gun out and goes, oh, a gun, well, I don't want it, but my wife could hock that at a pawn shop for some money, and we could get some, I think they got like new pots and pans.
It was a really sweet couple, and they actually got really good things with the blood gun. This little,
I think they're Italian immigrant couple.
Yeah, they were lovely.
They're talking about Nika, is it? Oh, Nito, their brother, Nito, their son. He's a good boy. He learn all of the things. He go on to get a good job. And
he's lovely. He just wants to help us all out.
Yeah, and it turns out that Nito is an horrible little twat.
Yeah,
they go to a pool hall, like the 3312 Club or something.
Yeah.
I think it was just named after the number on the street.
Yeah.
And they walk in and they're like, hey, guy who owns the place that we know because he's a criminal probably. Mm-hmm. He goes, hey, I've not been doing anything bad. And he goes, yeah, okay, what about Nito Kappa? And then this guy in the sharpest, most fucking gangster suit in the world. Do you know what? He looks just like, in Who Framed Roger Rabbit? one of the weasels has got one of the weasels that is helping out Judge Doom. He's got like a zoot suit on for the pinstripe sort of things.
Yeah.
Nito's wearing one of those. He's got like a black shirt and this sort of black and pinstripe thing.
He is
got this
fly.
hat. He's slick as anything, and he's just hustling pool in the back, and he looks cool as fuck.
Which is mad because when you look at his mum and dad, and they're just.
That's because he's an horrible criminal.
He's a terrible man.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. This guy. Yeah. So he found the gun that his dad found and went, "Oh, this is perfect," because before all of this, you just see from the point of view of the robber, an armed robber go in and shoot up a liquor store, killing the bloke behind the place and stealing like $500 or something.
Yeah, which is a right contrast to Lewis's event.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah, Lois sort of.
Oh, Lois. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was Morse's mate Lewis.
Oh yeah, he popped his head in.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, Morse's passed out on my couch after drinking a load of special brew. And he won't stop banging on about opera. But yeah, so that was every episode of Morse there for people who are interested. And half an episode of Cracker. Yeah. But, so he's doing all right there, but they catch him because he tries to run, only he's in the sharpest suit in the world, so they catch him really easily.
Oh, yeah.
And then they interrogate him. Oh, yeah, we tore apart your bedroom and looked in the brass bedstand.
Yeah.
And
found loads of money.
Roll of $250.
Yeah.
Which in 1950, just a stupendous amount of money, I shouldn't wonder.
You were raking it.
And they said about 500 was taken. So who were you working with? Someone with a car? Someone with a blue coupe by any chance? He's like, no. None of my friends have got a blue coupe. That's weird. Why are you saying that over and over again? Nah, he's got the blue coupe. Stop talking about the blue coupe. The great way they identify the money is because some of the money... because the lady whose husband had been killed a few days earlier, when sorting out change for a customer, accidentally knocked a whole bottle of red wine into the register. Yeah. So there are some of these dollar bills that have got red stains on them. So they look like Gorbachev's forehead. They've got this sort of bleh, and they go, "Oh, look at that, red wine stains." And he's like, "Oh, you planted it there." And they got really like early bullet identification systems from their rifling inside the gun barrels, because they've got those marks where they're lining them up, and they're going, "This bullet was shot from the same gun that killed whoever," and and all that stuff. So they've got this sort of red herring of Nito, and so Nito's going to go down for murder. Well, because he did murder a man, so it's okay.
Oh, yeah.
But they're like, and then they go, and for the murder of this guy, and he's like, what? I wasn't even at the airport. Like, yeah, you were.
I didn't know. He's like, yep, you definitely were. Yeah. I'm going to gaslight you till you are.
Basically, yeah. All through this, Andy is becoming more and more suspicious of Ed. He's constantly sort of like, I don't know, I think Ed's lying to me. And she's like, oh, it can't be that.
No, Ed
because the world is wonderful. I am a proto-Zoe Deschanel. She's not, no, that's unfair, but she's very positive.
Yeah.
Her response is, I'm going to make some scrambled eggs.
Yay! Would you like 5? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, would you like 5? Sure, cholesterol doesn't exist in 1950.
It's fine. You've reversed it with your joy.
I would like 5 scrambled eggs with a pound of butter on it and some double cream in it as well, please. Thanks. I mean, that does. If you're going to make scrambled eggs, that does sound like the best recipe for it.
Just put it all in.
Yeah, why not? Wang it all up. And do you want cheese on it? Yes, I want cheese on it.
Oh,
idiot.
Man, that sounds delightful.
Yeah, it does.
But obviously not vegan cheese. Obviously,
I can't. Vegan cheese on the eggs makes all the difference. Yep.
Yeah, but you can get synthetic, can't you?
You can, but
so probably not the same.
I've tried a lot of synthetic versions of
all the things
of those things, and egg is a very, very unique thing. Yeah, egg is very unique. That's what we're calling this episode.
Yep.
Egg is very unique.
Very unique.
Yeah.
So unique.
But yeah, so Andy starts ringing up and finding out stuff
because he's calling like well, actually, to be fair, they're not going on their little drive yet. Him and Janet. Is that not because they've identified the morgue for the other person. Yeah. I've made notes, you see, and I'm looking back and getting very lost.
That's all right.
And that's okay.
They've just got married.
Yes.
So they've come out of the I think they just like went to the city hall and signed a marriage license thing, and they get into their convertible.
Car, yeah. He gets pulled over for speeding.
For running a red light.
Yeah, because he just like
because it's that down one of those massive hills they've got in San Francisco, and like the tram signs flashing, going ding ding ding. He's like, fuck it, woo!
He's doing his own Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Like, we just got married.
Woo,
and then,
we don't need the law.
And then a traffic cop
except
on him.
tomorrow.
Yeah, except to stop trams from driving into us because we've just got married, and this is about. I thought this is going to be the most tragic film. I was like absolutely certain. I was like, oh no.
And that's where it ends.
They're going to joy themselves into smashing it up. And
it would have worked well for Ed, though, wouldn't it?
Well, I thought that Ed would become so guilty that he would just confess or something like that. Yeah. It would be. But no, Andy and Janet, absolutely fine.
Yep. Got pulled over.
Got pulled over by a traffic cop.
He's like, oh, it's you.
He's like,
oh, congratulations.
Hey, Andy. Oh, well done. You got married, huh? You kids. You guys are crazy. Well, don't go running anywhere. Oh,
here's your ticket.
Hey, you're not going to give me a ticket, are you? Oh, I'm afraid I've got to. He hands over a ticket with just the words good luck written on it.
Which is like slightly ominous.
I mean, it is potentially like good luck. Why?
Good luck.
Because I'm going to get you the chair. Like, California doesn't have the death sentence, especially not for traffic offences. It does now. You are both going to die on the same chair.
I don't think Janet would die, though. I think she kind of be levitated up.
I think she'd
away
absorb
from the chair
all
or
that
something,
energy and start a non-profit for orphans.
She'd like channel it from her mouth and
yeah.
Be amazing.
Like some sort of like a Pokemon.
Yep.
She'd just shoot it out of her face. I don't know if I understand Pokemon.
I used to.
I think I've misunderstood it grossly, but I think it's to do with. Yeah. I think it's to do with lightning coming out of your face.
I think that's like maybe more Final Fantasy than Pokemon, but
it's
that's
possible.
All good. That's fine.
It could be. Although I know more about FF than I do about Pokemon, but that's for another time.
MIDI.
my ex-girlfriend was a big fan of Pokemon Go, so
nice.
I learnt some things and even briefly played it to accompany her around the place, but there were only so many pigeon-looking things that I could get before I went, I don't know if this is for me.
Fair. I used to watch a TV show and like play Fire Red, and Snorlax fell asleep across the bridge, so I had to like wake him up again. It was a good time.
I did watch the Pokemon the movie.
I cried at that. Because that is
was it when Pikachu's going got you like trying to
no it's when they resurrect Ash with the tears.
Yeah, that's what he does, but he's
but
he's trying to do it when just by electrifying the stone to life.
Yeah.
And then there's this big
I'm gonna cry again.
Oh darling, I'm sorry.
It's fine, don't worry.
Then there's a big sort of ballad thing about being brothers.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's a very strange film. But yeah, I watched that at university, and I did find that bit strangely moving. It's like, oh.
See, everyone laughs at me, but we all know deep inside.
No,
if someone could resurrect,
there was something. It wasn't the tears that making them come back to life. It was more the Pikachu's anguish.
Oh god, yeah.
That was the bit that I felt.
It was heartbreaking.
Because my mate Ollie even said, I saw that clip because it was on a movie show that we used to watch, and he's like, I found that peculiarly moving. I'm like, so did I. He's like, oh, thank God. I thought I was like having the menopause at the age of 16 or whatever it was. But
so that was like my equivalent of Gizmo, like getting bullied. It's sad.
Oh yes, that is sad.
It is. Anyway,
we probably won't do Gremlins on this show because it's awfully well known, and we like these films for this one. So yeah, and then Andy, aside from his death-defying, punishment-defying bit of
gets away with crime, which actually, if you're that eager about it, you're not going to run a red light, mate.
Yeah, That's the thing that,
Dyson with fire, though.
I don't know why they included that sequence. It was a very strange one.
Maybe it was to go, he's not fully square.
Oh,
he's
maybe.
a bit cool, too.
He's not
on his wedding day.
He's not always just a safety first Clive.
Why do you think Janet likes him so much?
Damn it, Janet.
There we go. Damn it, indeed.
She's got her own safety first Clive. Was it Clive or Clyde? I can't remember.
I don't know.
What Vala calls the boy she kills in the desert.
Because why not?
Yeah.
It's probably Clyde.
Maybe.
Clive.
Look back to Faster Pussycat Kill Kill.
Yes. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Fine. Oh God, yes. He basically Andy's been contacting like the guy, the traffic officer who saw him on the bridge has been, and he sees in the newspaper someone tried to jump off the bridge.
Yep.
And they landed on a fishing vessel instead of drowning, which is, and so he sees that on the newspaper, and then he calls
hardcore.
He calls like 3 people in a row.
Yeah.
And when was there a phone call to this place and all this stuff, and he realizes that all of it points to the fact that Ed was clearly there.
Yeah.
And probably did it, but there's one thing that doesn't add up. It's the Columbo. Just one more thing.
Just one more.
And so he arrives at work full of vim and vigour, as always, and then goes, hi, Ed. I feel shit. Can I borrow your car? Go doctors. And he goes, what?
He's like, what?
He's like, I feel awful. Can I go doctors now? And he goes, all right then. Gives him the keys and he drives off.
Which, it's quite trusting still. So he still maintains a relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, so some of them do.
He drives off to the witness.
Yes.
And says, did the car look anything like this? He goes, yeah, I said, a blue coupe.
Blue.
Keep in mind, this is a black and white film.
Yeah.
So
you could definitely see the intensity through the monochrome.
Yeah, the twist of this relying on the car colour in a black and white film. If this was in a novel, it would be fine.
Yeah. But no.
And it's blue coupe.
Yeah.
You crazy guy, this is green. Oh, you call that green? That's blue.
You're colourblind.
Yeah, he just diagnoses him with colour blindness and fucks off.
He's like, it's not even like he's nice about it. He just goes, right, you're an idiot. Bye.
Yeah.
Which for Andy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Right. Well, power. Get into him.
Well, he's coming to terms with the fact that his brother, who he looked up to,
you never look up to people.
Is never admire anybody. The Emma Tiswell story.
Nope, never. Not worth it.
That's amazing.
Don't look down on him. Just don't look at it. Just don't look.
I just love the way that you watch something about Malala on television and probably went, well, she's probably a bitch. She'll let us all down one day.
Yeah.
She survived the Taliban. Oh, well, who hasn't? I mean, honestly.
Education, whatever.
Oh, look at her carrying forth with grace and civility.
So I'm basically evil.
Well,
there's no being a stop. No, not
enough.
Evil. Just indifferent.
You're not actively evil. No. I think for evil you need to be proactive.
Yeah, like actually doing the dodge.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're getting close. So Andy goes to confront Ed.
Yes, he does. Oh my.
And like, does he try to? Oh.
Well, actually, there's a one point where he goes to Lewis's. And he sees Ed go into Lewis's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he also then sees her windows open and her just kind of frolicking about.
Yes, and then Ed says Ed comes outside and he goes, oh, I should have known, making a move on the rich lady. And he's like, I just had something to say, but she's all doped up on painkillers and sleepy pills.
Obviously.
And because the doctor's orders, because I think she was suffering woman's hysteria.
Yes, definitely, probably that.
I imagine she had to have some kind of womb calming device.
Yep.
Applied.
That was heartbreaking for her, understandably.
Yeah.
But she had to be drugged
because woman's hysteria is shrill and unbecoming.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to
especially had you've just lost your partner.
Yeah, absolutely.
He went salmon fishing, by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. He often did go salmon fishing. To which one police officer says, "You got a dame like that at home? Why would you go salmon fishing?"
Well, that's
the advice Ed gives Andy. He goes, "Don't knock it. A few years' time, you want some space, salmon fishing. That's the way to go."
Mm-hmm.
So it's just imagining poor Andy stood at the top of a waterfall,
trying
waving a rod around. Yeah. Just going, but my wife isn't a dickhead. Why am I here?
She's amazing.
Yeah, she's really great.
If there's anything, you can catch her some salmon.
Yeah, if nothing else.
And they can have a romantic
meal.
meal.
Some gravlax. There you go.
To get her a bit of the rivers or whatever. I don't know.
Get her a bit of river.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Take her home a cup of river.
Yeah, a cup of river.
Just a little flask of river. There you go. There was a water boatman on it.
Definitely was at the River Love. Definitely.
Yeah. Look at this undrinkable water. Probably not too do it. You could have just nipped down to the bay and just got some from that, I'd imagine, because it's full of guns and fishermen.
It'd still be as turbid. It'd be fine.
Yeah. There was a point as well where Lois and Ed meet one another.
Yes.
And he says, "Hey, how's Andy doing?" Because he said he felt bad. He goes, "Oh, he seemed fine when he left this morning."
He was totally all right.
Yeah. Oh, because he borrowed my car to go to the doctor's. He goes, "That's strange. He took our car to work today." So Ed's like,
He's not just a detective as our Ed. He's quick.
Yeah. So he goes, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So he confronts him. Is it in their apartment or like Ed's apartment?
Yeah. So he gets back to his apartment and he sees him just sat in his little hat and his little trench coat, waiting.
Which they all wear.
For the
they both wear at all times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm amazed he wasn't wearing his hat when he was brushing his teeth in the earlier scene. They sort of seem to be just fully dressed for outdoors at all times.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what
not even raining.
Yeah, I don't know what the climate of San Francisco is.
Probably clement.
I understand fog is a thing they have, but I don't know. But yeah, so they're doing all right that way.
But like to Ed's initial credit, he did sort of feel a bit bad about being a bit of a tit to his brother.
Yes, he did.
So but then the lady Lois.
But yeah, she's a rich broad who's too good for the likes of him.
Mm-hmm.
And so
his favourite kind.
Yeah, the only kind there is.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, "What you been snooping on me for, little bro?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "'Cause you're a criminal, Ed, and you probably shot a man, or at least tried to cover up the fact that a man had been shot."
Yep.
So Ed goes, "Well, that's fair enough," and then punches him in the face and knocks him out.
I think before that, does he not bring up the whole salmon thing? He's like, "Salmon's around season."
Oh yeah.
Or was that later? I don't know.
He does make a quip about salmon. But yeah, so he basically sucker punches him.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, he gets properly down. He's not like...
Oh no, it's like a sack of spuds. He hits the floor. Yeah, completely.
Which you'd think he'd be a bit more flighty.
Well, he wasn't expecting it from his brother, and also Ed looks grizzled. He's done street fighting before. He has brawled. He's got a pretty solid right hook. Drops him, ties him up.
Yep.
And leaves him on the sofa, bound and gagged.
Yep, which impressed. He did it nice and quick.
And so he's basically on the lam from that point.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, right, me and Lois are getting out of here.
Yep.
So he gets in his, now we know, green coupe.
Yeah. Which is misguided at best.
Yeah.
Because she's like, "Oh, should we go in your car? Should we go in my car?" And he's like, No. No, we'll go in the car that's been positively identified.
I'm not driving a woman's car, thank you, darling.
But it's all pink and feminine and lipstick marks all over the shop.
To be honest, his would blend in more because I bet hers is well expensive.
Yeah.
She is
yeah,
well
fair
rich.
point. But they could have scratched it up a bit. And they could have like...
No time, Emma, no time. They're on the lam. They've got to get out of there.
Well, yeah, true.
They've got to get out. They can't just knock
around.
Around just like smearing it with a tea bag to make it look like
margarine on it.
Get school projects like, I've wiped a tea bag on it so it's a treasure map now.
Good.
Thanks, miss.
Good.
Yeah, I have singed the edge with a match with the help of my mum.
I've put a little chick on it so it's Easter like in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I've put pipe cleaners on it
They're
now.
Good.
And
yeah.
And I have put some rice in this toilet roll.
Yep.
So when you turn it upside down, it sounds like rain.
Is that good?
So they've done all of that, and then they just went, let's just take the green coupe.
So they're taking the green coupe and they're kind of driving around, and all of a sudden on the radios there's like, oh, we're searching for Ed, and
calling all cars, calling all cars. That guy Ed turns out to be a criminal. Yep. Oh no!
In a green coupe.
Yeah, he's in a
with
green
a lady
coupe, bunging around the place with a rich broad. And they head towards the Golden Gate Bridge because apparently there's only 6 roads out of town. That might have changed since 1950.
We would hope
if there are
so.
any map experts out there, any road planning experts? Apparently, only 6 ways out. They don't say how many ways in, but 6 ways out of San Francisco. And they decide to go the way that involves the Golden Gate Bridge.
Are you going to San Francisco? 6 ways only.
Yeah. Because if you want to get out, there'll be a rush.
Oh yeah.
Sure to wear some flowers in your hair.
The San Francisco congestion.
The San Francisco congestion was probably some kind of avant-garde jazz group.
Yeah.
That or someone they'd have on like later with Jules Holland. So now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the San Francisco congestion.
Hey.
So that was their cover of the Seinfeld theme song. So yeah, that'll be good.
Yep.
So whilst they're jamming out to the San Francisco congestion, they are in a car, and then they realise there's a roadblock. They're going to get everyone's being
everyone's kind of swarming.
I mean, you see a license and registration in there, buddy. So they turn off and go down to sort of like, is it like a warehouse thing?
So he's got a secret place. He's like, we better hide out for a while and come back later. We'll go by the river.
We'll hide directly under the bridge.
Yes.
And it's in this place where he and Andy used to play when they were little boys.
Which is like a cross between like a fortress and like a prison, and
it looks a bit like the dam from GoldenEye. That's at the beginning when he does the bungee jumping. It's
very weird place, very cool. A lot of good hiding place scopes. And so he drives the coupe in again. Why? You run in if you're gonna.
Yeah, but I suppose you don't want to leave the car out so someone would notice it. You need it on the inside.
No, I get that, but drop it off earlier.
I see. Like abandon it. I mean, what you should have done really, brick on the. Although they're using it later to get back out, aren't they? When the heat's died down. So they stay right underneath the heat.
Yep, right underneath.
It's basically like avoiding being in the frying pan by getting in the oven. That's what they're doing.
Pretty much.
And Andy, without a second thought, goes, "Oh, I know where they've gone."
And they're like,
totally
it's
know.
not your fight, kid.
Yeah.
But he totally knows.
Yeah, and he's like, no, but I know where they are. Like, just you wait. So they get down there and they're sort of spying on him.
Yeah, like
he goes down there and he goes, "Oh, I see the coupe is here. Let's enjoy that for a little bit." And then he looks around and he can't find him. So and she's complaining that it's windy.
Yeah, she's not as hardy as I thought she'd be.
No, she's a bit more like,
Ed,
light me a cigarette, will you? We're hiding. Last thing we want to do is send smoke signals. Yeah, she's being pretty.
Her scarf's billowing in the wind beautifully.
Yeah. So
very on point.
And then essentially they. Oh, there we go. At Fort Point is what it's called.
Oh,
under the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes.
And as it says in the Wikipedia example, soon they are under arrest. But yeah, so this is they get arrested and then they're in the courthouse.
But like, didn't they not like so? There wasn't just that, because he goes off and he toddles off and he walks away. Because they hide from him in the watchtower, and then they hide on the side of the watchtower on the outside.
Oh yeah.
And then they eventually crawl back in and they hide again. And he's like about to just leave, and then suddenly the scarf kind of drops.
Oh yeah. Oh, and
onto the ground.
And also he finds the car with a note in it.
Yes.
Saying, "Can you please return this to the police? Thanks a lot, Ed."
Yeah, which is like, don't bother doing.
Yeah, it's sort of.
He's stuck.
I'm just confirming that I am definitely here. Thanks, Ed.
And I've unlearned.
And then the scarf drops, and then he spots them, and then
unlearn all his training.
Yeah, and then and then the next thing it turns
out. I thought like he kind of so he leaves. And then they like come out, and then they start like going down this embankment or something, and then they get swarmed. So I think he kind of sets them up.
Oh yeah, he does a bit of Pied Piper, lures them back out, doesn't he?
Which, you know, first time cop, pretty smart. He's doing all right.
He has got a future, except he's known as the guy who shopped his own brother. I mean, basically on his first day of being a cop.
True, but
right. It took about 3 days in total. And on one of those days, he took off to get married.
If this was line of duty,
incredible cop.
If this was line of duty, he'd be applauded. Corruption.
Absolutely.
But I mean, he shafted it.
Ultimately, he is correct in the eyes of the law. Although at no point,
but not in the street laws.
No, but at no point does Ed even try to say, "Look, she shot him in self-defense.
No,
we panicked," and all of this stuff. And, you know, at no point is there ever any attempt to explain what's happened. So Ed sort of still assumes that, like, he shot him.
Yeah.
Andy assumes that Ed shot Howard.
But no doubt he'll come out, like, later when he's wrongly imprisoned or something, and they'll making the Ed murder or whatever. And, like... he'll come out and they'll all know.
A series of Pathé newsreels.
Yeah. And they'll get that.
Constructing a homicider.
First, you need a book and a bullet.
Yes. Oh, we never mentioned that. The two of them go back to speak to her shortly after it's found out that her husband's dead. And
she does some sublime acting here.
Ed has told Lois to find that third slug.
Yes.
He's like, we need to find that bullet. And she makes quite a pantomime of looking at a door frame and then the other side of the door frame and then going, fuck it, I'll just have a sit down.
Yeah, don't give a shit.
So
Fine.
She's presumably, although she does have a butler. Or sort of valet kind of guy. Valet.
Vaguely recall.
He's sort of, because he says,
yes.
Because it's going to just be Ed who goes in to talk to her.
Yes.
And say, we've got to tell the dame that our husband's dead. And Andy's like, I don't know if I have the stomach for it. It's my first day.
Yeah.
And he goes, it's all right.
So I thought that was like, Andy who went up with him. I see.
You get yourself off home. Kid.
Go
Don't
to Janet, get some eggs.
She was probably sitting on a huge pile of scrambled eggs trying to reach the kitchen because she's been waiting for you.
Grinning her head off.
Like, don't you worry. She's probably got some brilliant news about seeing a nice window earlier.
Which actually, again, she's pretty calm about him lying. She's like, oh, cool, what else? Yeah. Goes right to his head.
Yeah, and so he's like, don't you worry, kid. I've got this one. It's your first day. You shouldn't have to do it. So he goes up. He knocks on the door, and the thing is, I will go and see if Miss Howard is interested in speaking to you. And he goes up. He goes, there's a detective here to see you. Was it Detective Cullen?
Detective Cullen, yes.
Detective Cullen to see you, Mom. And she goes, oh, send him up. I'm in, very modest 1950s nightwear, but still nightwear nonetheless.
Oh, yeah.
And then Andy shows up just behind Ed, goes, hi, I realised I can't start my first day by chickening out on bad news. I'm going to have to get used to it. So I'm with you, bro. Like it's really good news, and he's really pleased with himself and proud.
Ed's just like, for God's sake.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah.
So they come upstairs, and it's mainly down to the fact that Andy is a really shoddy guest.
Yeah.
Because they go in to take some details, and Andy settles himself. She goes, oh, please, will you sit? So Andy settles down in a chair.
Just clumps himself down.
He lights up a fag to begin with.
Pretty much. Doesn't even ask.
And he's looking around for an ashtray.
Yep.
Presumptuous. And then he pulls out his notebook, and he's like, it's a bit dark, so he turns on the lamp next to him. And then you can see a book on the bookshelf behind him with a bullet wedged in the third bullet.
Yes.
Wedged in the spine.
Which Ed had told Lois to get rid of,
but she couldn't find it because she didn't turn the lamp on.
And she doesn't read her books.
No. So what happens is Ed clocks it behind Andy, nods to Lois, Lois mate goes, "Oh, I simply can't," and starts passing out.
Yep.
Andy straight out of the chair, like, "Oh, I've got you. Don't worry, I've got you."
It's fine. We'll pop you on the sofa,
her up,
yeah.
and Ed has just walked all the way behind him, picked up the book, and gone, quickly, just get her on the couch here. Get her on the couch. We need to elevate her feet.
Yep.
And he puts the book under her
Yeah,
shoes.
he sweeps it up all nonchalantly, and he's like,
yeah. And then he goes, "Oh, well, maybe we should investigate the study where it happened."
Yeah.
And then she just picks up the book, sticks it under the sofa. No more is mentioned of it again.
No, which is quite. But I suppose they don't go around hers very often.
No, that's true. But,
which is again.
But it does mean that Ed knows where that is now. This is the final scene, which lasts about 30 seconds, and it's at the courthouse.
Yep.
And they are they? Is it a break in the proceedings? I think.
Yeah, so I think they're probably like having a bit of a stall, and they kind of pass each other and look.
Well, she's talking to her lawyer.
Yes.
And she's saying that she is a very wealthy woman. She's using loads of lines that she used on Ed earlier.
Yes.
She's like, "Oh, light me a cigarette, will you please, darling? Oh, I'm a very wealthy woman. We could, if you were to be with me, then you'd never have to worry again. You will get me off of this charge, won't you?" And it turns out that she a hoe in the modern parlance.
Yeah.
And so Ed lights her a cigarette for the last time.
Yep.
And she fucks off, knowing full well that
she screwed him entirely over. Again, he says nothing.
No. Because that's the kind of broad he falls for. He's just one of those guys.
Bad lass.
He's always going to go for the ones that are no good.
So, cautionary tale, my friends.
Yeah. It's pure noir in that sense. In that, the man, is literally the man who cheated himself.
Yeah.
Because she was clearly playing him from the off. And he was like, "She is fit and wealthy. I'm
she
all
gave me a
for
kiss.
that."
It would have God.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She could. Yeah. And then I kissed her in that sort of a bit too much pushing with my head in the kiss. But then we were in the middle of the Hays Code, so the fact that lips were touching at all.
Yeah.
If you did literally anything else, they would have banned the film for pure
scandal,
pornography. And also, crime can't be seen to pay.
No.
And bent coppers and stuff can't be seen to get away with it. So, the Hays Code wouldn't allow a Usual Suspects style get away with it scot-free ending. No. That would be the worst. So you had to make an example of bent coppers and the like.
It's all right.
But I actually really enjoyed the film. I thought it was the twist of the eyewitness being colourblind.
That was fantastic.
I was like, oh, that is good. And also, like I said, a brass neck thing to do in a black and white film.
I could have just watched more of them. They were fun.
Oh, and those witnesses were proper fun. They were like they were out of a different film.
Yeah,
like some sort of.
It's like the Baron in Frankenstein, who's just not part of it at all. yeah,
he's very much doing his own thing in the middle of it without anyone being too concerned about it. No, I really did enjoy it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Definitely an improvement from Time Travelers. Not that anything was wrong with that. It's just more content, more contentment.
Yes, absolutely. and it knew what it wanted to be. It was literally, I assume it was made just to fill a quota. We need to make some films. Here is one of them. These sort of stuff based on Dashiell Hammett or on Raymond Chandler novels. They're doing very well. Let's have a hard-boiled detective thing set in San Francisco, like all of these other things. Let's do that. That's perfect. Because in Los Angeles it's too warm to wear an overcoat. So San Francisco, you got a breeze. So you can wear the trench coat and all that kind of stuff. And
it does look pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great.
To their credit.
So I really, really. Yeah, and it's about an hour and 20. We should mention that it's on Pizza Flix, which is a channel like Flix as in Netflix, Flix, Pizza Flix, all one word. And whoever runs Pizza Flicks, we have to thank them because they've put up some really, really cool and interesting old stuff. I think a lot of it's like public domain American film and television. And I imagine we'll be dealing with some more stuff from there because I love a noir, and they've got some old horse dramas on there, some more westerns, and all that kind of stuff. So
it looks really promising.
Do go and subscribe and ring the bell for that. I promise you, it's not us.
No, there's like TV shows and stuff as well, which is really cool.
I saw one. There's something from like 1950 something with a really young Angela Lansbury in it or something. Maybe not 50, but very, very young Angela Lansbury. There's something with Peter Falk. Peter Falk looking. He played Columbo.
Oh,
looking like a young, William Shatner.
Really? Oh.
He does look like a young Shatner. It's odd.
That's interesting.
It isn't it? Yeah. Let's hope his acting is as wildly over the top as Shatner. Shatner, who just wanted to make sure even the people in the back could work out what he was doing. But yeah, so we watch that online for Nout on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's a brilliant thing. So if you're looking to expand your
film viewing repertoire, I guess,
or just the access to these unusual things, you might find a little treat in there, something that really does it for you. Because I didn't know any of the actors in this film. I didn't know any of the.
I'm just looking at pictures of Peter Falk.
I'm perving over young Peter Falk.
He looks alright.
You wee dirty.
Holy crap, he does as well. Sorry. Anyway.
You know what, like Bill Shatner? Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was scrolling through it going, I wonder what else there is. And I was like, oh, there's a young Bill Shatner. And then it said Peter Falk under it. I'm like, no.
It is like, you want to check it out. It's really cool.
Absolutely. So, yeah, Pizza Flicks. Get yourself a pizza and flick through it.
Yes.
Oh, I've just got Netflix. I've just understood it. No, I've had it for a while, but I've just understood it, yeah. Because it's like the flicks, like the pictures, but also you flick through it.
There we go.
Good. Well, it's
beautiful.
I am a clever boy.
Sometimes
a clever boy. Yeah. So what
like
was
a bird.
What was your best bit, you reckon?
My best bit. I always enjoy Janet doing anything in the apartment. She's a high class fashion lass as well.
Oh yeah, she's a fashion designer, isn't she? Yeah. There's a bit where she's just going, I deserve a raise. Yeah. I'm going to ask for a raise.
I'm going to get a raise.
I'm going to go and ask for a raise tomorrow.
And you know what? She deserved that raise.
She probably got it. They just They didn't have time to put it in the film.
They didn't even care about the fashion.
But right at the end, when Ed's looking all sad that Lois has walked off smoking the cigarette arm in arm with her lawyer, she just goes, hey, don't feel too bad, Ed. You may have broken the law, but I got a raise. That's how it should have ended.
Definitely.
That would be my any addition to it I would make would be that one.
Yeah. Agreed.
And maybe just a bit of Janet just day to day.
Yeah.
Designing some stuff.
Just doing some stuff. Maybe more of like the honeymoon, actual wedding stuff.
I don't think they got to the honeymoon. They postponed it because they were like his brother was getting sent down, and then, well, I suppose he had to be at court, didn't he?
But they could have ended it after the court and be like, and I mean that wouldn't work, but
that'd be good though if they could end it like North by Northwest.
I will agree to that. I don't know. Again, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
If Tom were, it would be a whole different kettle.
No, it might not be. You'll have. It's a Hitchcock film. It's a very good one.
I've got it. I've just not watched it.
There's a very notable.
I've watched a bit like Marnie and that.
There's a very notable bit of symbolism right at the end of it.
I see.
And it's amongst. Yeah, it's sort of. You'll have seen. Nods to it.
Known it.
There's the Simpsons. The sort of scene where someone is being chased through a cornfield by a biplane with machine guns on it.
Yeah,
that's in that.
I see.
Cary Grant going, somebody's shooting at me while I'm in a field. I don't think. I've just made it out like Cary Grant just describes what's happening to him throughout it. And there's also a fist fight on top of Mount Rushmore, which is cool.
Nice.
It's a great film, that one, yeah.
Okay, I'll get on it.
That one's a priority because it's proper exciting.
Okay.
And it's quite a good sort of proto-action film, I suppose. But yeah, very, very good indeed.
Do you know what? Just thought of a Hitchcock film that I really like. The like black comedy, but dark comedy. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Strangers on a Train. That one's very good.
It's the one where he's Frenzy. I think it's Frenzy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Mm.
The guy is framed for murdering lots of ladies. Proper down to earth, that one.
Yep.
Anyway.
And you can only see the terror in the eyes of the female lead.
Yeah.
Only thing in her eyes you can see is the reflection of Alfred Hitchcock looming and being a jerk to her.
Being terrifying. Like, and now I'm just thinking about Peeping Tom.
I love women so much, I'm going to be shit to them.
I will push them over the edge. Mm. Oh dear, that was weird watching Barney because it's a really good film, but bloody hell.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be like that.
Yeah.
And then there's just him walking through in the background as if to keep an eye on them. No, that's my director's cameo. No, it's not. It's you wandering near someone you've been tormenting. No, I'm just drinking a coffee in this cafe and reading a newspaper.
All very casual.
Whilst whispering, "You look shit in your clothes."
Terrible.
All the way through.
Take them off.
You are lucky to be near me and my girth.
Awful, man.
Yeah. The word girth should never be whispered. I've just realised that. I'm very sorry, all you listeners out there.
This is what you just come to expect, the girthiest of things.
Yes. Only the crumbliest, girthiest chocolate.
Tastes like chocolate, never gushed before.
Yeah. Try have that one if you want.
Yeah.
Cadbury's. Hashtag not spawn. Not spawned by Cadbury's or by Pizza Flix, but we do think that what Pizza Flix do is great and should happen some more. Yes. Also, on a similar, I can't remember who did it, but you could watch all of Blake's 7 on YouTube as well.
Oh nice
quality.
You mentioned that, didn't you?
Enjoying
That's
that.
Good.
So yeah, so there's all sorts of made by Terry Nation, who invented the Daleks.
Nice.
No, obviously Davros invented the Daleks, but he invented the notion of the Daleks.
There we go.
So yes, I'm not certain what my
what's your favourite bit?
Favourite bit is.
I'm not very good at asking questions. I need to get better at that.
Oh, you're all right. It's fine.
What's your favourite bit? And then what's your least favourite bit?
I don't really have a least favourite bit because I enjoyed the film as a whole.
Yeah.
I suppose the fact that there was no effort made on Ed's part to explain what actually happened, or for Andy to say, "Look, just tell me what happened."
Yeah,
is there any way that this could not be a crime?
Like they shared the same room.
Yeah.
You'd think there'd be a bit of he just hands over his car willy nilly.
Yeah, and Andy's sort of clearly, it's made out very clearly that Andy's like been in awe of Ed.
Yeah,
because he's like quite notably older as Ed, isn't he? He's like, hey, I've been solving crime since you were in diapers or something like that. And so it's clear he's like, oh, I get to be detective now, like my big brother. That's brilliant. First thing I will do is take him down.
I would quite like to see a bit of if they both had parents, if they were around to see like the steely eyes of them and Andy.
Oh, that's true, yeah, because their parents never get mentioned, really, do they?
No, and they probably came from something or someone. Maybe an egg.
They were probably. That's why he never eats any of the eggs that Janet makes. She's like, how do I tell her that I was hatched?
Yeah,
but all she does is just go, hey, everyone likes eggs. I'm going to make him some eggs. I'm
going to scramble it as well to really mess with your mind.
Yeah. This is going to be the worst. I'm going to pulverize some eggs for you. And then she's just thinking, oh.
He's left eggs again.
Oh, maybe it's because I'm not making enough of them. I'm going to make an 8-egger. Just like more than a dozen at a time eggs. Eggs.
How do you... He could blanket himself in it. That might work quite well.
He could fold it. If he whipped the whites into stiff peaks, he could slowly fold that over himself with a metal spoon.
Good size if he wants to put like a little furrow in his brow.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Or a nice Santa beard.
Oh, little leggy beard.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Like it'd be like bubble bath.
And then you could eat it while you're like, instead of like shaving it, you eat it.
Yep.
So it's all right.
You shaved, but with a spoon.
Yeah.
Sort of just scrape the spoon down and then. I like the pool hall. That was good. There was virtually no drinking in it, which and not as much sort of really fetishized smoking either.
Do you suppose that because they're actually, were probably telling the truth and like being quite open about things, that people didn't need to rely on their vices as much?
Maybe.
Although having said that,
also Ed had like a decent job and wasn't, seemed quite happy until he got involved in this thing. He wasn't like a crooked cop. Yeah. So it's not like he was proper, it's not like he was a sort of a Sam Spade kind of living hand to mouth. When's the next check coming in? All I got is cigarettes and bourbon to keep me going and all that kind of stuff mixed in with the bad lot. It's but yeah, my least favourite bit was it could have had a few more noir things in it. And I think that if Ed and Andy had a conversation saying like, what did happen? Because he was, because we sort of realised that Howard set up that flight to be an alibi for when he comes back to shoot his wife. So he meant you could easily spin that to say she shot him in self-defense. Yeah,
I mean the thing is, it is sort of preemptive. She knows, so it's very hard not to feel sort of a bit concerned for her or sorry for her, but then she's horrible, so it's like
it's this sort of, you get this suspicion all the way through because she's like, because there's a bit where she's literally like, light me a cigarette, will you, and pour me a drink, and fetch me my shoes,
do me all these things,
and there's my tax returns over there, do those for me, and I notice I haven't had my hairbrush today, and boy am I horny, do me properly now, thanks. She's just adding to this massive list of shit he's got to do, and he's like just stood there with a cigarette in his hand going, do you want this first or what? He's like, and so you sort of go, she's really, it reveals her true nature, because when it starts off she's like a jerk to her husband, but he's being a jerk back, so they're both being, it's like she's kind of just a bit brassy, and he's, and then after that she's sort of, oh please, and and the conversation she has with Ed on the park bench, that's sort of like really quite heartfelt and honest, but the more the film goes on, the more it reveals what a jerk she is, and then right at the end when she's using the same chat up lines on the lawyer, and you go, oh, she is just a prick.
But then it's interesting because I was like, if he was going to get caught, why is she like, I'll come with you? Because she could have just fleed.
She could have, yeah.
So part of me is still like, oh, maybe there is like a actual connection or something.
Yeah, and then once she got caught, she got desperate enough to flirt her way out of a sentence or whatever. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Like, it always seemed a bit ambiguous. There was a lot of things that were quite ambiguous in that film.
Yes, well, that's the nature of noir, I suppose. That's the fun bit. It's a lot more cheerful than a lot of noir.
I've not watched that much noir
because you've got Andy and Janet, who are little rays of sunshine throughout the entire thing. Yeah, and like the
supporting cast and everything too.
And there's and there's nothing. Well, there's the witness and his wife, and also the motorcycle cop, the traffic cop who gives him the good luck note. And it's like hardly anyone is miserable. Even the Mr. and Mrs. Kappa, sort of like, look at my new pans. Oh, they are nice. So sweet. They are. And their son is a div.
Yeah.
Horrible bloke, but
don't deserve him.
But he's going down for murder, so
hooray!
Yeah, they didn't go back to tell her that.
No,
and then just have her weeping openly, cursing God.
Yeah, there was a lot of justice in the film, to be fair. Yeah, on the whole.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, you're made to hate Nito straight away because he's dressed sharp as hell, but he's quite clearly a massive crook. Yeah. He's like, oh yeah, so you're spending your money on sharp suits, whereas your mother's at home wearing a cotton dress. It's like, a cotton dress? What?
They're my parents. They have to look after themselves.
Yeah, he's like, Pops makes enough to look after her.
Yeah.
It's like, But also, it's the idea that a cotton dress is like the height of poverty.
Yeah,
Like, it's fine.
Cotton's a good material. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. She's at home wearing nothing but a wool
environmental
snood.
Friendly.
Yeah, it's like what was she like? Oh, I can't believe you've not even bought your mother a set of tweeds.
Just get her back in that paper dress, yeah. Jeez.
Paper dress like a cut-out doll.
Yeah.
She's got little tabs that you just bend over her shoulders. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
She's so cute.
She was lovely. Yeah, and they go, oh no, we just put it straight into this drawer. And then, we make a new life for ourselves here in America. It's like, and your son has done that by being a prick.
Yep. So
but never mind.
You have to deal with that yourselves.
So yeah, I would recommend watching it if you are a noir fan or you're interested in just sort of what passed for a crime drama in 1950. Because there's twists and turns, there's double crossing, there's all sorts of good stuff in there.
Oh yeah.
I still love the colour twist in a black and white film.
That's
I don't think I'll ever quite get over that because it's also one that you can't see yourself. Yeah. It's just great. I love that. But it's just the way I suspect the man is colourblind. And I don't even know if blue and green is a colourblind. It might well be, but
I don't know. My dad's cat. I should really know that. Don't know.
Well, different people have different.
They do.
Don't they? Different combinations.
Yes.
But I absolutely loved that bit of it.
Because that was brilliant.
Because it's like when he shouted at him, "You're colourblind," gets in the car and fucks off. It's like he's snapped at him, which is what he wanted to do, and he was just going medium. Which is a wonderful scene. Yeah, there's some. I love the crunchy gear changes in old films because they were still working on it at the time. They were still trying to, and also this is low budget as anything. It's not.
They've done brilliant considering.
Oh no, absolutely. But that's the thing is that noir was very popular because low budget.
Yeah.
Don't need any period costumes. Don't need San Francisco exists. You can do all of this quite easily. Yep. Sound stages and stuff. Oh, there's the brilliant bit where Lois is in the sort of in the fort, and she's quite clearly stood in front of an enormous photograph. Yeah. That's a brilliant bit. I like that a lot. That bit's too much fun. But I find. It's weird. Some people go, "Oh, when I see bad special effects, it just pulls me straight out of the film." I'm like, I really love it. I find it hugely endearing. Yeah, and also it's this thing of, well, you're lucky enough to live in a time when you can do better special effects than that on your phone.
Yeah,
a telephone can do more than that. That's incredible. So celebrate that existed and go and make a better one because it's the plot was good, the acting was really solid.
Definitely,
because your man who played Ed, he went on to be nominated for a supporting Oscar for 12 Angry Men.
That's really good.
And another one which I can't remember. So there's some pedigree in there. He also shopped a load of his friends to the what was it, the Council for Un-American Activities or whatever. But then he was in On the Waterfront, which apparently apologises for that.
That's all right then.
So yeah, that's all right. But yeah, he was in On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando. He's been in some good stuff. Others sort of have done all right as well. But
yeah, like Janet did all right, didn't she?
She was a journalist. She stopped being an actress and became a journalist, and then got involved in Cuban politics, and she killed herself in the 60s.
Actually, no, she didn't do all right.
She didn't do great. No.
Yeah.
She was on her way to doing well, but she suffered a miscarriage, and then after that, depression. I imagine some of it relating to the miscarriage, sadly. And she took a barbiturate overdose. But
we got that sideline.
Yes, well, not all of these stories end.
No.
And well, I mean, if you want to. Some of the Scream Queens and stuff like that, and any actress who worked with Alfred Hitchcock, all got to. There's some pretty horrible stuff that goes on in these things, but that's how it goes.
Yes.
But everyone starts somewhere because there's, there are I mean, there are films we may end up watching that have got like Ronald Reagan in them and stuff because he was well-known reasonably known actor before he turned to politics, and it's believed that with the senility and the dementia and stuff that he apparently had during the last years of office, that's why he'd often tell foreign diplomats and foreign world leaders about things that he'd done that transpired to be the plots of films that he'd been in when he was a young man, which is kind of, I know, it's kind of, it's sort of horrible because obviously dementia and all those kind of things are really, really wretched. But like the idea that this guy just go, oh, there's this one time when I was a cowboy, right? And that's just telling the president of France that or so, that's just kind of hilarious.
That's lovely.
And also terrifying in that he was the leader of the free world. But, but then you look at, it's not a political show, but, you look at the state of modern politics and you go, do you know what? That would be preferable, wouldn't it?
Yeah, really would.
that would, if we knew this and we went back to that, we'd go, oh, we're appreciative little boys and girls now, aren't we?
Yeah, cowboys all the way instead of whatever the hell this is.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
Oh, jeez.
Imagine that. If it had gone the other way and Hillary Clinton was telling Justin Trudeau about when she was a cowboy. We'd all be going, do you know what? The world's weird, but at least we feel okay at night.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. But anyway, that's why you should watch The Man Who Cheated Himself.
Yes. Because it's that good.
And it doesn't bury the lead. He properly does cheat himself.
Yeah.
There's a few opportunities for him to make things right. And he just goes,
nah.
She is fit, though.
Yeah, she's all right. She's all right.
She is proper fit, though, and she has got, like, millions of pounds. Dollars, they call them in America, don't they?
Oh, yeah, so I hear.
And all my stupid brother has got is his weird egg wife. So...
Geez, that's just reminding me of Festival.
So not to be confused with an ent wife, which is what...
Oh, the Eggman.
Or the Eggman. It's not to be confused with a lot of things, but could easily be.
Oh, yeah.
So, I would say give it a watch and go to Pizza Flicks to find other stuff. There are some really great titles. Like, when I saw The Man Who Cheated Himself, I'm like, I've got to watch that. That's a brilliant title. There are so many weird ones in there. But, have a good look through there. And there's tons of public domain stuff. There's a lot of old sci-fi ones as well. Killers from Space. I think that's one. I've got that penciled in for one of ours as well.
Sweet, that sounds good.
Killers from Space, which is a sort of a sci-fi one.
Excellent.
So hopefully we'll be back next. Well, we will be back next week.
Yes.
Hopefully with Tom this time.
Yes, we miss Tom. He's a good egg.
Yeah, because we've had these two films that we've been planning on doing with us two and Tom.
Yep.
And they've just been floating around for a bit,
and
so we want to do those. Although actually we're going to be doing a different one because.
Are we?
Yes, because next week will be episode 12.
So you find out before I do.
And because we've got a special lined up for episode 13.
Yes.
Because if we're going to be doing like horror related stuff and there's an episode 13, you've got to do something special. So we're rearranging the schedule a little bit. This is all. Do you know what? You don't even need to know any of this, Boppers. You really don't. But just keep in mind that Emma's very excited about episode 13, as am I. So it's at least worth hanging around with us until then, and then you can see whether we were right. Because I think it is going to be super fun. Yeah, and next week will be as well, especially if we get Tom back. So that'll all be good. So thank you ever so much for listening. You can find out a little bit more about us at groovinmovies.com. You can also find us at coffee.com/groovinmovies. That's ko-fi.com/groovinmovies, where if you feel the urge to donate, you can buy us a coffee. A princely sum of £3. And we promise to put the first £120 towards doing a series on the Torchy Blaine films. That's what we're looking at the moment. We've got some new equipment, so everything should sound a little bit nicer when we get Tom back, and there's 3 of us. That should be great.
Yes.
And you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Groovin Movies, and the Groovin Movies Bopper Clubhouse on Facebook, and the Groovin Movies page as well. So join us there and have a nice time. Until then, we will see you next time. Thank you very much, Emma.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome. So, take care, guys. See you soon. Bye, bye, bye.
Ta-ra.
Groovin Movies featured Tom King, Eddie French, and Emma Tidswell, and is part of the Discount Comedy Checkout Network. For more information, go to www.comedycheckout.com. Thanks for listening.